Hey everyone, it is Savanna with Signature Ways, and today's podcast I'm so excited about. I got my coffee. You can't see, but I don't have my shoes on because I'm like curled up in this chair because this conversation is going to be raw, it's going to be authentic. And if you have not had the pleasure of meeting this amazing human that I'm about to introduce, you need to get to know her. So, without further ado, hello, my wonderful. How are you today?
Hey, Bryn. I'm amazing. I'm so grateful to be here. Anytime I get to share my story or encourage and empower others is a good day.
It really is. And it's funny because, in full honesty, when we launch this podcast, and by the time this episode airs, will be, I think, month seven, month nine or 10. And I've always knew that I wanted you on the podcast. I just was waiting for it to build up a little bit before we had this authentic conversation and just the real and the raw about real estate. So, before we get there, though, I want to hear, how did you get into real estate?
Yeah. So, one, congrats. Proud of you for just starting and doing the thing. And now you're 9 months in. That's so inspiring. And I think that's a message for all of us in general, right? There's so many things that we want to do or say we're going to do. And it's like at some point you just have to rip off the band aid and do it, right? You're like, I'm in a borrowed office. Nothing's perfect. We're getting it all figured out together. And I hope that's what someone listening to this needed to hear, that like you don't have to be perfect to start. You just have to start to get good. And thank you. I got into real estate. So I grew up. I'm the youngest of five. My dad was a Marine for 22 years, an air traffic controller. My mom was a senior executive for telecommunications, and her territories were Asia, Latin America, and Europe. So she traveled a lot. And I love my mom. I'm a spitting image of her, respect her to the death. She actually just landed at my sister's house from her final work trip ever. She's retiring, and I'm so proud of her.
That's
I
so
don't know
awesome.
anyone that has ever worked harder in their lives. Like my mom, my dad ended up retiring to be a stay-at-home dad because my mom's career was just like so take off that it was like one of them had to be home because she traveled so much. And I was like, I want to be like my mom. I love her like drive for sales and passion and empowering people and like making things get done. But I don't want to be away from my kids as much as my mom had to be away from us.
Mm.
And now that I'm grown up, I like come home from work and I'm like, how in the world did she do this? Like real estate are like long days, but like she drove 2 hours to an office, worked all day, then drove 2 hours home, and then still was, like, an amazing, present, loving, kind, supportive mom that was still a team mom of our sports teams. Like, I literally sit there and I'm like, "I have no concept how you do this," and now I get all the text messages in our family group message, how we're like, "How did you do this, mom? Like, how did you do all of this? You're
Mm.
amazing." And so I was like, I wanna be like you, but I don't want that." And so I was always looking like, what can I do that gives me like passion, that empowers people, that I can use my gift of like talking and peopling and empowering people because it's just my favorite thing ever. Um, and like my business savvy scales, sales negotiation, like I love getting nitty and gritty with that. And I love building something. Like I love starting things and building things. And so I actually though got a degree in youth ministry and psychology in college. I thought that's how I was gonna help people, and that is how I helped people. Through my undergrad, I was a youth pastor, and then I went and did missions work abroad in Kenya, came back, was getting a master's in clinical mental health counseling and pastoral leadership, and was still like, pastoring and mentoring youth in the inner city, and I loved that work. And then I fell in love with my life. And the church communities that I was a part of were like, "That's not allowed here, so you cannot be in leadership anymore." And so I dropped out of my master's. I blew up my whole life. I married the love of my life, and I, like, knew it was coming because I just was like, "I've tried so hard to hide this part of me for so long." And so I was like, "I either going to get pushed out or I'm gonna, like, quietly leave and set myself up for success so when I do come out, I'm not, like, left with nothing." So knowing like I was done hiding that part of me, I stepped down from my roles. I stepped down from leadership. I kind of like distanced myself from the church and got licensed in real estate. And then I got COVID really bad. And I was in the back of an ambulance going to the hospital for the second time. I went for the first time and they're like, your oxygen's above 80 and we don't want to vent you because you're so young. So we're going to send you home. And I called the ambulance a few days later and I was getting brought back. And I just was like, if I live after this, I'm not gonna create a life that I live praying for the weekend. Like, I want to create a life that I live, that, like, I experience life and I experience it to the fullest, and I build a life I love, and I raise children in a way that they know me and I know them, and that we get to travel together, and that was a gift my family did give me. We got to travel together, like, at least once a year, for family vacation, which was such a gift, and I'm like, "That's what I want to build." Like, if I have life after this ambulance ride, I don't want to build a mediocre life. And when I looked at all my options after pastoral work, um, real estate just honestly seemed to be the thing. And I was like, that gives me the ability, like, I want 5 kids and I want to travel the world with them. You need to make a lot of money to do that. I want time freedom and location freedom. Real estate is not really a location freedom giver. It is very location heavy unless you can build it specifically. And I'll probably talk about that later, of like why I strategically switched to the team I'm at now, because they actually do really specialize in helping you build a business that you can be here or you cannot be here and it will thrive with or without you. Um, and obviously I would still be working, but in different capacities. But yeah, that's a little bit about how I got into real estate, and then I interviewed 27 different brokerages before I hung my license for the first time because I was like, I know that it's not who, it's how, or it's not how, it's who. Like,
Mhm.
that's one of my favorite books. I
Yes.
didn't say that is my favorite book, but who, not how. That's what it is. Who, not how. So often in life, it's who you know, not what you know.
Amen.
And so I was like, who I'm under is gonna really matter for my success. And so I went under Gogo Bepke and E because they were moms doing full-time income and part-time hours. That was their whole marketing thing. And I was like, that's the life I want, right? So I was under them at EXP for like 4 years or 3 years, 3.5 years. And I was on a local team called Hub, and I loved it, and it was amazing. And I'm so grateful I got to build the beginning of my career there. It was such a gift and such a privilege. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then the season of life happens, right? And I know we're gonna get to that,
Mhm.
but to kind of touch on what you brought up, and I think what people need to hear is the clarity that you have about the business you're building, right? Because I think so many people get lost in this real estate world by the big, the shiny, the crystal clear. You didn't say, "Oh, I want to drive a Rolex," or that's a watch, isn't it? See, yeah, yeah,
Really, neither of us want a Rolex. We don't know what it is.
right. A Land Rover, and like you want the like top tier. You want the fancy watch. You want all these things. Yet you had clarity about having that time for your family and to pour into the passions you care about. And because you have that clarity, you can build such a powerful business because there's actual meaning behind it. And I think that right there is something that everyone needs to hear. And it's part of a course I teach that we talk about this. And, I know these handful of next episodes for everyone, they're going to be hearing about this class. And yet, once you have that understanding, that clarity, your world can explode and you will face challenges, yet they're not challenges that you can't get through.
Yeah, that's so real. That's so real. I mean, look at you. Like, you were running a decent business, and then you pivoted and you were like, "This is what I feel called to do." And you scaled so fast that that's given you challenges that, like, you never thought you would have faced, right? But, like, that is the blessing that comes when you follow what, like, your voice, your inner voice says, like, "This is where I'm supposed to go." And there's a million outer voices that are like, "No, no, 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 this is your lane. Like, this is where you're supposed to go. This is how you're supposed to do it. This is what you should want. This is what you should do. This is how you should act. This is what you should dress like. This is how you should be a mom. This is how you should be a working mom." Like, and my New Year's resolution this year was I am done shoulding myself. Like, stop shoulding on yourself. Like, if I catch myself saying, "I should do this," it's an automatic no. because it's not for me. That's not from my deepest inner knowing. If I am gonna do something, it's because I am going to do it. And like full me, full heart, full voice, full personality, full identity. And it's funny because I think I have become known as someone that's like, oh, she's so authentic and it's so easy for her to be out there and loud and crazy. And she wears like the crazy outfits and she does the crazy things. And even last night, I was like, this is what I want to wear, but at a new team. What are people going to think? Like, I've been kind of toning myself down. And then I was like, hold the up. I didn't really realize that. Why am I toning myself down? No, 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 no. Like, I don't do that. But it is so easy to fall back into like what we think we should be
Yeah.
and what we think we should do. And always having like my business coach every meeting, I'll be like, "Oh, and I did this and this and this and this," and I'm like, "Do I get my gold star?" And she's like, "So where's your due north?" Like, she's like, you have your due north, like, your golden star, like, where you wanna be, like, bringing people home to the truth of who they are." And she's like, "Did your tasks, your achievements this week, like, did that get you to where you want to be in life? Like, are you a better version of the person that is bringing people home to the truth of who they are than when we met last week?" And I was like, "That is so like, it's so aligning," and it felt so good. Like, I had a meeting with her this morning, and I was like, "Yes." Like, actually, yes. Like, this past week, I helped a lot of people come closer to the truth of who they are, and, like, that, like, I say that my career is helping people buy and sell houses, but my calling is helping people come home. Come home to, like, the truth of who you are. Come home to that voice that tells you, like, "This is where you're supposed to go." Like, that still small whisper inside of you. Um, like, that is what I pray my life does for people, is that, like, they see me and they're like sparkle jackets aren't for everyone, right? But they're like, "But if that is her truth and she's living it, I'm gonna take that permission slip and I'm gonna be the best version of me. Like, I'm gonna be the truest version of me. I'm gonna be the most authentic version of me. I'm going to" like, and I even tell people this, like, in, like, my career often, they're like, "Oh, well, like, I should want this, but, like, I kinda like it when a house has this." I'm like, "Then why would you buy a house that someone else told you you should like?" Like,
Right.
that's a really expensive mistake. But $500,000 of shitting on yourself? Like, no, thank you. Like, this is the one space you should feel like there is no one else that is telling you how you can be or who you can be. Like, that is why this career is so important.
Exactly. And then, like, how would you call it home then? Because home is where you are at. And it's funny that this because, like, I feel like today's like a full circle, right? Because I had my coaching call today. I still get business coaching. It's so important to me. And she was like, "Where are your feet? Where are your feet?"
Mm,
Um, and I think so many times in this business, right, we get so caught up in the futuristic. And I was explaining to her and I was like, "In this and this and this and this." And she was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa. Today. Where are
yeah,
we today? How are we making a difference today?" And I was like, "Oh, ah." And I think, there's so many things that, in realization, even in Q2, and this is why I was so excited about this episode, right? Because it's real, it's raw. I realized I just was not giving 110% to some of the things I should have been because I was trying to slightly multitask, even though I know multitasking doesn't exist.
yeah.
And things didn't fall through the cracks because of it. But now I'm having to spend more time on them because I didn't give them the intention needed at that time.
Mm,
I didn't put my feet
so,
where they
yeah.
or
Yeah,
where they
like, today is the only today you will ever get.
Mhm.
Because is tomorrow's and yesterday's. Like, today is the only today you will ever get, and that is something that, like, someone said to me once, and I was like, "Well, duh." And then they're like, "But do you live that way? Like, do you realize that, like, today is the only July 9th of 2026 you will ever experience in your life?
Yeah.
Like, and what if today was the last day? Like, did you love well? Did you serve well? Did you speak the truth in love? Like, were you who you wanted to be in that day?" And I think that we do get so caught up, and this industry is so dog eat dog, like in our team meeting this morning, we're working on like our scripting and our practicing. And he's like, yeah, some of you are having great numbers, but guess what? It doesn't matter because we all get lazy. And you know, when you get laziest, when you're doing the best. And then
Mhm.
you're like, oh, yeah, I got this. And you're like walking into a tour and you're like, he was cracking me up, but he's just like, oh, I forget this is a podcast. He's like doing like finger guns and like acting like he's like silly and like not showing up like as his full self, right? Like you're saying, like
Right.
not giving 110%.
Yep.
And in his business, everything you do today is like the real estate is the biggest self growth of delayed gratification. If you cannot handle delayed gratification, do not start a real estate career. Like it is the work you do today feels thankless, feels pointless, feels like a waste of time. And maybe in 60, 90, 180, 365 days, you will see the payout for it. Or someone will say, thanks so much for working with me for 365 days. I'm giving Bob your $40,000 commission you've worked for. Have a good day. And it's super fun.
It's super fun. Well, and I even think, and one thing I've seen though, I've seen agents come out of the gate, right, with like this immediate success. And what happens is reality check hasn't happened. And when reality check happens, they haven't been able to go through some of the struggles to realize how to get through it, that they just are like, well, that's it for that. And the towel goes in. I mean, there are agents that I have known for many, or people that I've known for many years. And I was like, they're going to be doing this forever. They're going to be the number one in the United States one day. And, but right, how do you overcome these challenges in real estate? And bottom line, it's authentically being you, showing up daily, and having the right mindset.
I would just add the way you get through the really hard times in real estate is having really good people around you
100.
and having a really big support system. So I have a 7-month-old baby now,
Yay.
and
Who is
the
adorable,
biggest
by the way.
he's the best thing in the whole world. And the big it takes a village. And I think to have a successful realtor, it takes a village. Like you will have months you make no paychecks. You will have hard times. You will work your butt off 100-hour weeks and make no money. You will doubt yourself daily, monthly, weekly, your entire career. And then you will prove yourself good enough. You will prove yourself worthy. You will figure it out and you will conquer it again, and then you will get kicked in the teeth again and you will need a few good people to cry to. But make sure the people you go to cry to are also the ones that hold you while you're down and make you get back up and fight again. Like they're like the bell's ringing. Like you were knocked out, now stand back up and fight again. Like it's a new round. Keep going. Because I think that in my last season, that was something that was not helping propel me forward. I had people that were just like, and I think I'm a little hard on myself. They're like, no, like you have a lot of reasons going on. Like your wife was really, really sick through her entire pregnancy and the entire first 2 to 3 months of your son's life. And you were trying to figure out how to have a newborn and have a wife and have a job and have a career and have all these things and manage. Oh, and I was working full time as a loan officer and full time as a real estate agent. So we had healthcare. And, it was just a lot, and kinda like what you were saying, I was doing everything,
Mhm.
and therefore I was doing nothing well, and I think that's one of my biggest branding tips and my biggest marketing tips to realtors is when you speak to everyone, you speak to no one.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes. Let's
And
hit on that because this is a concept that people are like, but I want all the leads. And I'm like, but everything will come to you because people want to be part of that.
mm, yeah, I think that so I was scared of that too, right? And then there's also, like, fair housing laws and all the things, so you do have to be careful, like, in your niche and in your marketing, but the reality is the person you are the most qualified to help Ed Milet says this all the time, "The person you are the most qualified to help is the person you once were." And so, speaking to who you were a few steps behind you is never gonna be a fair housing violation. And if someone tries to make it one, like, they can have fun talking to Dora and a blank wall. But if you try to, like, hit some niche that you don't actually relate to, it's gonna feel so unauthentic and it's gonna fall flat. But the reality is like when you go to speak, and this is the marketing that's done the best, and like we've really hit pause on all of our stuff right now, and I'm like about to hit this rebrand and what is my new who I am and all of that. But I will tell you this: in our career, uh, the first Zillow tour I ever took as a realtor, I got the lead and we were like 45 minutes from home. And I was like, well, my wife's gonna have to come with me because I can't make it home. And so I was just like, okay. And then she was like, well, should I come with you? Like, should I stay in the car? And I was like, I don't know. We just got this like really weird vibe from these people. And she was like, this is weird. Like, I don't like, I'm just coming with you. I was like, all right, I'll tell them you're my assistant. And I was like, okay. And it wasn't because she was my assistant, because she basically is. Like, she does so much behind the scenes for our business, but it was because I was terrified to tell this dude that I had a wife. Like, I was so ashamed and so scared that someone wouldn't wanna work with me as their realtor
Mhm.
because of their homophobia. And, um, after that, I was like, "That felt so gross. That felt so unauthentic." Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I have worked so hard to, like, deprogram my self-hatred of myself and my love and my marriage, but it is so deep in, like, culture and history like and there's something that all of us hold in that, right? Like,
But
I'm too loud, I'm not enough, I'm this or I'm that, or I'm not pretty enough, or I'm fat enough, or I'm too fat, or, like, whatever it is. Like, when we show up to meet someone new, which in real estate is your entire career. You meet random people at abandoned buildings where no one lives. It's really weird. It's everything our parents told us never to do, and our teachers told us to shut up and stop talking. And now we all make more money than any of our teachers or most of our parents by talking to random strangers in empty buildings. So there is
right.
that. If anyone else was always told, why do you do the things that you're told not to do? I'm like, well, now we're all here successful realtors. Um, if you are someone who's wondering if you should become a realtor and you like following all the rules and you like knowing how everything's going to go and you like predictability and safety and systems and knowing what's coming next, please do not become a realtor. Like, let me save someone blowing up their current career to try to become a realtor if you cannot deal with ambiguity and you cannot deal with ups and downs and highs and lows and you don't want to grow. Because entrepreneurship is a never ending self growth movement.
Yes.
And if you're not moving and if you're not growing and if you're not understanding yourself more, you're not going to make it. Like, you will not make it. If you are not willing to adapt and change and grow and look at yourself in the mirror and say, like, what did I do there that was good? And how do I do that again? And what did I do there that was not? And how do I change it? And how do I get better? And how am I coachable? Like you said, like coaching is so important. Like,
It is.
I will never hire a coach. Like, if I'm ever going to hire a coach, I'm like, who's coaching you? Because I don't believe anyone who is worth learning from has ever stopped growing, has ever stopped learning. Um, I got very off topic because I get very passionate about that. But what I was saying was, I think what I was saying was that we all have something that makes us want to hide. But Shoshana Raven, which is my current favorite book I'm listening to right now, and I just finished reading it and I'm listening to it. It's called The Limit Does Not Exist.
Mm,
Like, we put limits on ourselves. People try to put pretend limits on us. But the
yes.
reality is there is no limit to your success. Like,
Yeah.
this chick dances in tutus and like weird swimsuit tops in her like $30,000 a month penthouse in Puerto Rico and does like $1 million days, just reminding people that like you are actually magic. Like, the chance that you are alive today in this world, like how many like your grandparents had to meet and procreate like for you to be here, like it's crazy. And, like, how many times you could have died every single day of your life, but you're here? Like, that's crazy. And,
Mm,
like, how do you live your life realizing that? And then how do we, like, just create mundane lives and not think that, like, we can create magic? Like, magic is everywhere if we are willing to create it. And sadness and poopy days and crap and hatred and bigotry is everywhere if we just look for it, right? And after that first tour, I was like, "Nope, I'm gonna be me. And this is a hard line. This is not a line in the sand. This is a line in the concrete wall. Like that I am okay with anyone walking away from me, but I am no longer walking away from myself. I am no longer saying, "This is who I am, but I will walk away from her to be someone you want me to be." I won't anymore. This is who I am, and if you meet me and you choose to walk away and work with someone else, I have peace with that. But I will no longer walk away from who I am to make money, to get business, to have friends, to get clout, or anything. It almost killed me. Like, I did it for way too long. And the reality is, if I have to be someone else for you to love me, you never loved me in the first place.
Is isn't that just a life lesson right there, just in general, and not just in business, but like just in general? And it's, what's so funny about this too is that in the real estate world, right? Like it's not necessarily that there's this camouflaging that happens, but there just sometimes isn't necessarily where people are very transparent about their true self. And partially, yeah, when agents are first getting started, it's typical to hear them go, "Oh my gosh, I felt crummy to do this deal because I was working with someone I didn't enjoy," and you couldn't freely express yourself. And part of that was I just like with my Facebook and everything, like I was so nervous to really push the content I'm now pushing out because on my personal page, because I was afraid of the judgment that would come around it because of the should haves that everyone else told me I should be. Since I was a little girl, everyone wanted me to be a lawyer. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, I do like to argue. I do. When in business, I like to argue in business, um, and negotiate. And yet, I could have, been that lawyer that in the class I teach, they talk about this lawyer that is making 300,000 a year, top tier, in New York or Chicago, and everyone thinks they have it together, but they're so not happy. And having the freedom to be able to spend time with my daughter, to take her to dance on Wednesdays, to go swimming with her, to go walking around the lake, and to be like, "Hey, at 4:30, that's like when, for my health, that's when I like to try to eat dinner and spend time with her and not get stuck in the traffic." Like that there, like to be able to create a life that I can envision and use real estate as the power tool through that because real estate has been able to help me fund the ability to go and teach young adults to be their authentic self, right? Um, and that's a life worth living and not necessarily the dollar amount that follows with it.
Yeah. And I will say, like, people are like, I was telling my wife last night that we were like talking about these things, and I was like, yeah, and like, I'm all for us. Like, we are such big dreamers. Like, we will reach millions of people in like 1,000 different ways throughout our lifetimes. And, um, I was like, and right now, our reality and our bank accounts, like, we're living in my parents' basement to get out of debt, to get to a better place so that we're not just spending our whole children's childhoods just trying to climb out of the consumer debt. But honestly, I don't know anyone that's not in right now in our age group. Like, it's so expensive to live. It's so hard. And another warning, like, I am so passionate now about like teaching first time home buyers, do not buy above your means. Like, live far below your means. What you are pre-approved for, your highest amount, you should never touch. Like,
No.
do not go close to it. We did it. We maxed ourselves out. We got a tiny little, which is crazy. Like, we got a tiny little less than 1,000 square foot house in Berthoud, Colorado,
I'm like,
and
I know where that was because we used to
and
be neighbors.
yeah, we used to be neighbors. Fun fact. And like our mortgage is 34.50 a month.
Hmm.
Like, that's asinine. Like, that's crazy, and then you add 2 car payments, and you add real estate fees, and you add business expenses, and, like, it just builds up so fast, and it's so hard when you have really high highs and really low lows, and then we got into, like, crazy medical debt because my wife was in the hospital so much, and we were in between insurance, being self-employed, and there's just so many things that are hard, and there's so many days where I remember, like, looking around and being like, "How did anyone do this?" Like, how did like, I get why the rate of realtors not making it to year 5 is what it is, because to be honest, if I didn't have my parents and I didn't have my wife, like, I absolutely would not still be a realtor today. I wouldn't have been able to. Like, and I'm a pretty dang good realtor, and, I averaged over 20 deals the past 2 years, and, like, I've done over $25 million of sales in less than 3.5 years. Like, those are, like, really crazy numbers for a new agent, and I still was struggling so bad. And granted, like, most people who are beginning have a second income, and my wife was getting her master's degree, and so we didn't have a second income source. Um, and it just was hard, and I feel like I was thinking about everything I could say, and I was like, "Oh, what I was gonna say was when we started being ourselves, really ourselves, I was like, we should make a TikTok because I feel like I could be free on TikTok. Like TikTok feels unhinged and like out there. And this was like right before they were like, we're gonna cancel it in the US. And so we're like, whatever. Like if it goes somewhere. And if it doesn't, like the US is gonna cancel TikTok, it says.
Right.
So
Yep.
we were like kind of just putting the most ridiculous things out there and just like finding the trends and like having so much fun with it. That's another thing that like money follows fun. I'm listening to this book called Love Money, Money Loves You. Holy cow, everyone go listen to it. It is so fascinating. It's written as if the energy of money is talking to you as a person, and it just, like, flips everything you've ever, like, thought about on your head. It's like, "I need to be stressed and work," and it was like, you literally, like, block the flow of money because the energy of money is not bad, evil, gross, dirty. The energy of money is, like, light and love and enjoyment and hope and excitement and health and healing, and, like, that's the frequency that money vibes with, and it was like, you have to, like, raise your frequency to that level, and it's like, no, money doesn't buy happiness, but having joy and having gratitude and having this level of happiness matches the frequency that money can meet you at. And anyway, we were just having fun and things started happening again. And then we were just being real. We saw that Texas passed a law again that judges get to choose if they will grant gay marriages or not. So you could go to a judge in Texas and say, my wife and I are filing for marriage. And they could say, no, or they could say yes, like, in 2026. And we were like, "Excuse me, what? Like, how are we going back on this?" And so we just made a TikTok and we're like, "Hi, we're the Property Wives. We're a queer wife and wife team. We live in Colorado, and we specialize in helping people buy houses in Northern Colorado. If you live in Texas and you're a queer couple and you're scared that your state is swinging towards a way of no longer recognizing your marriage, or if you're trans or have a family member that's trans, we would love to help you get out. Like, contact us. We'd love to help you move." We got like almost 9,000 followers and 100 applications to relocate with us in like a 2-month span. Yeah. It was crazy. And it was like, whoa, like having fun, speaking about the things that really matter to us, that absolutely like being like, that could absolutely ostracize a lot of people. Like, we don't agree with the government. We don't agree with what Texas is doing. We don't agree with this. We absolutely stand with trans people. We absolutely stand with gay rights. Like, that can ostracize a lot of people. And we spent so many years being like, but like, what if that pisses them off? Like, nah, nah. And finally, we're just like, whatever. Like, this is our TikTok. This isn't our business page. This isn't my business real estate profile. And it's so funny because, like, us having fun and being our authentic selves brought us more business than any other lead source I ever had. The sad reality is most people can't afford to relocate from Texas to Colorado because it is so freaking expensive. They're like, "So I have half an acre." I like get on these calls with people and we're like so excited to help them. They're like, "Yeah, we want just something similar to what we have now. We're on like half an acre, 4 bed, 4 bath, um, about like 3,000 square feet. Maybe we'd like to go up to like 3,500 square feet." And I was like, "Okay," like, I'm like, "Bet, you got this? Like, what's your monthly budget?" And they're like, "Oh, like 780." I'm like, "Okay, like 7,800, we could do that." And they're like, "Oh, no, 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 $780 a month for my mortgage for that." And I was like, "Oh no." Like, do I have to be the person to tell them the cost of living in Colorado? is
It's
not the
very
cost of living in Texas. Is
Yep.
like 9 times that. So sadly, but we helped like almost 30 families relocate from the South to Colorado and have safer, more affordable, not more affordable, more rights where they feel safer and are seen, but it's definitely not more affordable. Um, and so that was just crazy. Like it was like, whoa. And every time we make one that I'm like, "Oh, should I post this?" Then I'm like, oh, that's how I know I should do it. It's like so good. So
Yep.
much love. Like the ones that I'm like, I should do this. It's like, cricket, 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 cricket. I'm like, just under contract. Man, people are like, I don't care. You
Right.
know?
So it's like, okay, yeah, you saw homes, which is a great reminder,
Mhm.
right? Like people need to
Yeah.
see that. And that's not speaking to the story, right? And the authentic of and why you're in this business to help people.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was also this really interesting thing that people would like get on these calls with us and then they're like, oh, you want me to buy a home? Like you just want to use me to make money? And I was like, what kind of business do you walk into and say, I would like to buy that, and then get mad at the store clerk because you had to pay for it? Like, you're mad that the person got a paycheck that did the work for you? Like, nowhere else. And I was just watching a thing about this yesterday that it was like, ever since the last NAR lawsuit, there's like all this conversation of like, oh, you don't need to pay buyer's agents anything anymore. And then like you have to like fight for your commission and all of this. And I was watching this one woman and she takes the call and she's like, "Hello?" And they're like, "Hi, I'd just like to talk about your commission. Like, is that negotiable?" And she was like, "Absolutely. What do you make in a year?" And he was like, "Excuse me, what?" And she's like, "I was just wondering if you wanted to negotiate your pay for work also. I thought we were playing a fun game." And he was like, "Oh no, that's really weird that you just asked me what I make and that I would negotiate my pay." She was like, "Okay, so you're not interested in negotiating mine either? Glad we cleared that up." I was like, "Oh my god, that's so funny." Like, that's crazy. And I think it just also is like a miseducation. Like no one has any idea how much like the checks that we get when you look at them on a settlement statement are like asinine. But it's like we're not
Oh,
taking that home. Like
right.
we're not taking that home. We're not just like dropping 60K in our pot
Well,
nuts every
we
day
do
like
think
people
they
do.
are though, and this is why they get in trouble with the IRS, but that's a whole other subject.
Yeah, that is another thing that I was like, I need to tell new agents, make sure you actually set money aside for taxes and make sure you actually pay your taxes. Because luckily, I'm really good at writing things off and I have yet to have a really high tax bill, but
It's
I would be screwed if I did.
well, and I think the thing is though, and it's funny, we are our industry is one of the industries that actually has the biggest problem with the IRS. And and I think a lot of it is because so many people are coming from the corporate or are coming fresh out of it, um, like from high school or from college right into it, that no one has actually sat them down and said, "Hey, you're 1099 and this is what this means." Being self-employed means and in their first year they get themselves in this debt, right? And it doesn't matter if you have consistent closings. What ends up happening is you're trying to play like and this is a huge thing, the whole should thing that you were talking about earlier and kind of to your point about this whole thing is that people go, "Oh, well, then I need this kind of car if I'm going to be in real estate, and I need to do this, and I need to do this, and it needs to look this way, and my hair always has to be perfect." Like y'all, you if you've watched the videos of these, you have seen where I have been in braids and coming from camp and just living life because at the end of the day. That is not what matters. It matters what's in here and how you're reflecting that outward.
Yeah, thing that like has taken me a lot too, and like even just like, and it is always a continuous thing, right? I told my whole life, like your natural, like this is my natural curly hair. Like your natural curly hair is unprofessional, so you need to like curl it with a curling iron to be seen professional. And yeah, and so even like uh Compass is like, oh, we need your headshot, and I was like, oh, Compass is luxury, and I've been wanting to change my headshot to this because I have a child now, and it takes me 2.5 hours to curl my hair with a curling iron. I don't have that time anymore, nor do I have that desire. But if I do that, then I was like, wait, I'm doing the whole realtor catfish thing where I'm like, here is my headshot, and then I show up and I look like a totally freaking different person.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, no, this is dumb. Like, this is stupid. But it is so crazy how hard it is. And also, like, it just sucks because dudes can walk out of a freaking tennis court, throw on a different pair of pants and fancier shoes, and be seen as a high level professional. And women could spend 3 hours getting ready, but still have their hair in a bun and be seen as messy and sloppy when they show up to work. And it is the crappiest double standard ever. And this, I do feel like this is one of the industries where, like, you don't have to have the black heels and the black dress and the perfectly curled hair. But to some level, sometimes you do.
Yeah,
Like,
well, that's
there
just I
are
wanted to mention
people that
that.
do have that expectation of you.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like pretend to be that version, but there is a level of like,
Situations.
yeah, there is a level like professionalism, right?
Well,
And I think that is a level that I balance a lot. Like some people would probably say like a dress with sparkles and tassels is not professional. But at the end of the day, I'm like, the work I do is what makes me professional. The quality of the way I care for my clients is what makes me top notch professional.
yeah,
The way I will advocate for the people in my corner and on my book of business is what makes me an excellent professional. It
yeah.
is not how my hair is styled. It is not what lipstick I'm wearing. It is not if I'm in heeled or sparkly sneakers. And that is something that like I have been fighting for so passionately, honestly, within myself. And it's something that I'm like, I want to like start speaking on this more. Um, because it is so frustrating and it is so hard because it's like we do still just live in a world ran by the patriarchy and there's changes and there's realities. But the reality is, like, there are expectations of how you look as a woman when you show up in the world. And to some level, it's like, yes, be professional, but also remember that your professionalism is in the quality of your work. And like, it pisses me off. You listen to the people talk about like Obama and Michelle. It's like no one is ever commenting on what he wears, but they're always commenting on what she wears. Or even like Trump or Ivanka. Like the comments on her is never on the quality of her work or what she does. It's on what she's wearing or how she says it or how she looked or did she look polite or kind or did they like and it's just it makes me so mad. And it's just like, can we come back to and remember that like, yes, you need to be a professional, but being a professional doesn't mean being a copycat or a carbon copy of someone else. It means being who you are and doing the best quality work with the best intentions, with the best resources that you can for your clients. That is what makes you a good professional. Because to be honest, when I see a headshot of someone and then I meet them in person and they look nothing like that, I'm like, I don't trust you. Like there's this like internal thing where I'm like, I just feel catfish. Like, huh, and I told my wife that I was like, I have this my headshot that's everywhere is this picture of me with like my hair curled and my extensions in and my hair super blonde and like and I love it. I love the picture of it. And the reality is it's still hard for me to think I'm as beautiful in my natural hair as that because I was told for so long that that's not true. And like I it's a daily battle to learn that. But I was like, I don't feel like I look like her anymore. Like when I show up like this, I love who I am now, but that's not her anymore. And can I let go of the perfect Barbie realtor look for the truth of who I am, knowing I am far more capable, far more competent, a way better agent than I was 4 years ago when I started in the industry and 55 transactions ago of life experience. But can I stand on that fact that I know who I am and I am happy to let people walk away from me, but I am not willing to walk away from myself anymore.
And there you have it, folks. Mic drop, episodes. Like, and
Yeah.
that's why I was so excited about this because the thing is whatever your truth is,
Mhm.
know it, be it, and show up in your business as it. Because as soon as you do, all these other expectations will fall to the wayside and your business will end up blooming. And that's what, and honestly, that's with signature agent services, with my other roles, with everything I've ever done. When I took the expectations off of everybody else and just showed up who I
Mhm.
am, that's when things started happening. And so I am so thankful that you came on this episode and just honestly just brought truth bomb after truth bomb. Like I don't know what we're gonna title this yet. I'm just gonna be like truth bomb the episode. Like I this is like authentically truth bombed. Like I
Yeah.
mean
Can you
it's
tell I used to be a pastor? Sometimes I get a little heated. Like,
right,
can I
right.
get off my soapbox?
But it's good because I think the reality and the thing is it's like, right, we all don't have to 100% agree on anything, but what we can agree at the end of the day is be you. Show up as you and stop letting everyone else dictate your success in this business and what it looks like for you. If you only want to do 5 deals a year to be home with your children, do that. If you want to go sell 100 homes and you want to, wear the black heels and wear the super professional, look like that Barbie like lawyer put together, then do it. If that's how you're gonna show up and be that boss, be it, but authentically you.
Yes, and I love doing that stuff too, right? Like, don't get me wrong, like, I still love it. Like, people probably see pictures of me with my hair curled back, curling my hair in, like, 3 weeks and be like, "Ah." But, like, the reality is learning how to love yourself on every stage in every way. And then also, I hope that the truest version of you is a kind enough person to love the truest version of other people. And I think that's the other thing, is people are like, "Oh, well, if I'm me, I push them away." I'm like, "Okay, I just made very clear what I stand for, and I will tell you 50% of my clientele last year that I closed houses with were heterosexual, Trump loving Republicans that were very religious and did not agree with my marriage. And they love me and they showed up to my baby shower and I love them and I'm friends with them and I show up to their houses and I'm a part of their kids' life. You can be authentically you and you can love people that are authentically being them, and you cannot see eye to eye on anything other than I see you as who you are, and I'm gonna choose to love you as that. And I think that's the biggest thing that people get wrong about finding a niche and being authentic to yourself is they think it's being degrading to people who aren't in that niche. And that if you're doing it right, that's the farthest thing from the truth. It's just a permission slip for everyone to be a freer version of who they are.
Amen.
And can you to
Oh, oh, well, thank you so much for this episode. I know, like everyone, I know we usually bring super tactical things. Yeah, this to me was tactical in the sense of really breaking down that barrier with an inner reflection. Because if you don't start there, it doesn't matter what other action steps you take for your business.
you are and why you're doing it. It doesn't matter how many Ninja 9 classes you take. It doesn't matter how many AI implementations you put into your business. You're not going to love your business. And so
Yeah.
it's not worth doing it at the end of the day.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
Amen. This was so fun. Thank you so
yes.
much for letting me be me.
Of course, and thank you for being part of this, and thank you everyone for listening, and we'll all see you soon.